From my experience in Russia over the last few years, I've noticed that they were particularly interested in maintaining good relations with all of the Gulf states, including Qatar, the Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. So for me, it's a little incomprehensible to think that they might sort of engage in that kind of hacking. And let me just say additionally that, that kind of a hack would reflect incredibly deep understanding of our regional politics. It just doesn't seem to be the case.
So, perhaps not surprisingly, you don't buy these claims because they are loosely from Qatar itself. The Russian story, perhaps likely a sidebar to what the bigger picture here is. These seemingly irreconcilable differences between erstwhile friends in the Gulf region. The big question is, why has this all blown up, sir, now? And what happens next?
Well, firstly, I'd say that they are reconcilable differences, and that's precisely why we have mediation taking place. They are reconcilable because we believe that the policy of the Qatari government, the foreign policy of the Qatari government, is supporting extremist elements within the Arab world and supporting the Muslim Brotherhood and various other Islamist political organizations, is actually not in the interest of Qatar at all. So we actually believe that if the Qatari government was genuinely interested in the well-being of the Qatari population, they would then turn a leaf on those policies and come back to the Emirates.
None of this is new, though, is it? That's the point.
No.
So you've got a young, what many in the Gulf will see as a young maverick leader who is effectively winding other people up. So what happens next?
It isn't as simple as winding other people up. I mean, these activities have taken place over the last 20 years with the founding of Al Jazeera, with the coming to power of the current Emir's father, and it's been a set of policies that have been really generally incomprehensible to the rest of the Gulf and the rest of the Middle East. It's beyond our comprehension why they would support consistently extremist elements, not just in the Arab world and the Muslim world, but across the globe.
Qatar doesn't seem to be in any sort of mood to bow to pressure at this point. Look, we know that the Emir of Kuwait, and John has just been alluding to the fact that he's in the UAE today. There is some shuttle diplomacy and mediation going on here. Have a listen, though, to what the Foreign Minister of Qatar told me yesterday.
Sure.
If there is any intervention in our affairs or intervention to change our policy because it's contradicting with other policies in different countries, this is not going to happen because Qatar basing our policy based on our principles.
If they won't change, what is the end game here?
The Gulf states in general, the GCC countries, excluding Qatar, of course, in this case, each country has its own foreign policy. The problem is when your foreign policy is to undermine your partners within that grouping, then this is no longer a foreign policy that is acceptable to the rest. We have reached out to the Qataris on numerous occasions over the last 20 years, including in 2014 when there was an agreement with the previous king, Saudi Arabia, King Abdullah. And the problem is that when the Qataris say we want to continue dialogue, we must talk, the problem is that that's exactly what we've been doing for 20 years. And while we've been talking, they've been actively undermining us, both within our own countries and in our operations in other countries. So, we've kind of reached the end of the line here, and there is a new sort of constellation of forces taking the prominence here. We have a new leadership in Saudi Arabia, more active leadership. We have a new leadership in the United States, and we have a set of kind of factors that say enough is enough. The extremism has really spread right across the globe now.
And so, sorry, when you talk about a new administration in Riyadh and a new administration in the US, some have posited that this is sort of post the first presidential trip abroad for President Trump to Riyadh somewhat 3-4 weeks ago now, that this has sort of emboldened those who in the past might have said, look, we're not sure we can get the US on board and we need them on board on our side. This has sort of emboldened people. Is there any veracity in that? Do you think, and where does Qatar stand so far as its relations with the US is concerned going forward? It's an important partner.
Yeah, I wouldn't say emboldened. I'd say that there are greater chances of tackling extremism in the region with the Trump administration on board. Given what we know about the Obama administration and its relationship with the various, with the political Islam, let's say, that was going to be a very tough sell. We've now seen where political Islam has taken us over the last sort of 6 or 7 years. And we feel that we do have a partner in Trump and the Trump administration and with the United States. So how Qatar is going to go forward when the entire world is looking at government funding of extremism is going to be very interesting.